Hello everyone, I am Baran Selan. I'm a paralegal in Auckland Solicitor. Welcome to this lecture on free on board or FOB contracts, a cornerstone concept in international commercial law. In today's discussion, we will explore the essential features of FOB contracts, the obligations of buyers and sellers, how risks transfer, remedies for breaches, and key legal principles using case law to illustrate. By the end of this session, you will have a clear understanding of how FOB contracts function in practice. What's an FOB contract? FOB stands for free on board. It is a term used to indicate the point at which the seller fulfills their delivery obligation and when the risk and cost shift to the buyer. Under an FOB contract, the seller's duty ends when the goods are loaded onto the vessel nominated by the buyer at the agreed port. The buyer assumes risk and responsibility for transportation, insurance, and delivery beyond the port of shipment. For instance, in the Parvin Limited versus Cindia Limited, the court highlighted that the seller must ensure the goods are loaded on board, marking the completion of their delivery obligations under an FOB contract. So, let's look at some key features of FOB contracts. There are three types of contracts for the FOB. There's the classic one, FOB with the additional services, and FOB with the shipment terms. What's classic? The buyer nominates the vessel and pays for shipping and insurance. For the additional service, the seller assists with chartering a vessel, but stops short of taking responsibility for delivery beyond loading. For the shipment terms, the seller arranges the shipment but transfers the shipping cost to the buyer. A classic example is the buyer's responsibility to nominate a vessel, as seen in Bunge Corporation versus Tradak Export, which is 1981. Here, the buyer's failure to nominate the vessel on time led to a breach of contract, allowing the seller to claim damages. There are some duties of the parties. Let's have a look to the duties. What are the duties? So, seller's duties are delivery of goods, loading on the vessel, and provision of documents. Let's get into it. Delivery of goods. The seller must deliver goods in compliance with the contract's description, quality, and timing. In the Julia case, which is also classic case, the court emphasized the importance of providing goods in the right condition, including proper packaging. Loading on the vessel is the seller is responsible for loading the goods onto the buyer's nominated ship. Delays or improper loading can result in claims for breach. And provision of documents. The seller must supply documents like the bill of lading, which confirms the goods have been loaded and serves as a title document. What are the buyer's duties? There are some duties of buyers as well. This one starts with nomination of vessel. The buyer must nominate a seaworthy vessel within agreed time frame. Failure to do so, as in Bunge versus Tradex, can lead to significant consequences. And shipping instructions. The buyer is responsible for providing timely and clear instructions. And the payment and insurance. The buyer pays the seller according to the terms, typically upon receipt of shipping documents and arranges insurance for transit risks. So let's have a look to the transfer of risk and title. In an FOB contract, the transfer of risk occurs once the goods are loaded onto the vessel. This means if something happens to the goods after loading, like damage or loss during transit, the buyer bears the risk. However, the transfer of title depends on the contract terms. The division of the risk and title was discussed in the Houston City case, where the court ruled that risk transfer is contingent on the loading process being completed as agreed. There are some breaches of remedies for breaches. So, one party fails to meet their obligations under an FOB contract, the other party has remedies, also like sellers and buyers as well. Sellers' remedies are non-accepted by buyer. If buyer fails to nominate a vessel or accept goods, the seller can sue for damages under Section 50, Clause 2 of the Sale of Goods Act 1979 and action for price. The seller can claim the contract price under Section 49 of the same act. For the buyer's remedies are non-delivery by seller. If the seller fails to deliver goods, the buyer may claim damages under Section 51. Also, late delivery. A delay in delivery can result in claims for financial losses, as seen as Arcos Limited versus EA Runseen and so on, where non-confirming goods also justified rejection. There are also some advantages and risks of FOB contracts. FOB contracts are advantageous because they provide clarity on the division of costs and risks. They allow buyers to control shipping logistics, potentially reducing transportation costs. However, FOB contracts carry risks such as disputes of vessel nomination and the complexity of managing shipping arrangements. Delays, incorrect documentation, or failure to comply with agreed terms can lead to legal conflicts. To summarize all of this, FOB contracts are a fundamental tool in international trade, offering clarity on risk and cost allocation. However, their success depends on precise drafting and compliance by both parties. Practically, parties should define when vessel nomination timelines clearly, include robust force majeure clauses to cover unforeseen shipping delays, ensure all contractual terms align with Incoterms 2020 for clarity. Thank you for your attention. If you have any questions about FOB contracts or need a legal assistance, feel free to reach out to our team at Auckland Solicitor. Thank you very much.